Hi guys, and welcome back to Niall with Niall and Tomas.
Hello.
Yet another Eurovision 2025 live performance reaction, whatever we call these, is upon us.
That was a long title.
Yeah, live show reaction, I think is the official title of the video. So let's go with that. Live show reaction.
Yeah.
So we have to look at someone who we completely underestimated. Is that fair to say? Fully underestimated?
I think that's not me being rude, but I think you underestimated him more than I did. I think I always said that I was expecting a big televote score for him. I didn't expect it to be bigger than Kai, so I underestimated him there. But I always knew that he was going to do well with the televote. Yeah.
Well, in case you can't break our cryptic clues, of course, it's time to react to Tommy Cash. Espresso Macchiato came second in the televote. Didn't do as well in the jury vote, but still well enough to come fourth overall?
Yeah, third overall. No, third.
Third.
Place.
Third. I won £5 in the sweepstake. That's it. I forgot. Before we get into this reaction, do remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, ring the notification bell, and go to niallpoints.com. All the links are in the description just for you. Shall we just get into it?
Yes, let's
do this.
Let's. It's muffled, but you can already hear the crowd cheering for this.
Yeah,
I kind of like this opening sort of like sequence. It's very much like a Hollywood movie or something.
It's brave to have like such a sort of drawn out intro a little bit. With not a lot going on and okay.
Do you know what I
have to say? What were you going to say?
Do you know what I'm kind of getting used to now? It's sort of like the contrast between the static set and the security, and then him doing the silly dance. It didn't really work for me first time I saw it. Now I'm sort of like, okay, I'm getting it now.
I've got to say, this has grown on me. I can't. I'm still not its biggest fan in the world, but it's enjoyable. You know. I do think some of the staging here does look fairly empty. But I think it does make up for it.
That are a bit too wide.
It does make up for it with sort of like stupid stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I do like this sort of dance that they're doing. Oh yeah, the girl with the little.
Oh yeah, because you thought what is about to happen was real.
Yeah, for a second, yeah.
Oh my god, I just realised they're making a throne. I'm so dumb. Tommy Wood, is that your address, Tommy Wood?
I was like, Jimmy Jumper strikes again, but no. The funny thing about this song is that the lyrics are so stupid, but they don't really matter in the song and in the performance because what's happening on stage has nothing to do with the meaning
apart from
of
the coffee
song.
beans here.
Yeah, yeah.
Espresso Macchiato.
Ooh. Coffee for everybody. I missed that in the performance.
It is after my coffee allocated cut-off time. It is 6 o'clock here. I'm not having more coffee. I'm up at 7. Okay, and do you want to start, or do you want me just to get a couple of things off my chest?
Well, this is great. I always thought that this was a good production. I always said, like, the production is really strong. The lyrics were a bit stupid. I never really fully got into the song, but I will say, as you have vouched for with your colleagues and people messaging you, the song just gets stuck in your head. More than once, I was singing the song at work, in the car, going on for a walk, whatever. The song was constantly stuck in my head. What I love about this performance, and things that I sort of missed because I didn't really give it a shot, is that there's so many details in this performance that are so clever. There's a couple of dance moves where you can clearly tell that he's taking inspiration from past, really iconic past Eurovision songs. There's a moment where they lift him by his arms that sort of reminded me of some performances. Elena Paparizou had that lift, that famous lift in 2005. The way that he was walking over one of the security people made me think back of Annie Lorak, Shady Lady, for Ukraine in 2008, where she also did the same sort of thing. The little note that said, "I love Eurovision," the coffee cup with his name on it. Just there's a lot of detail in this that sort of went unnoticed for me, and that I kind of feel sorry for now that I didn't give it a chance. Like, it didn't fully give it a chance. But I also thought his vocal was a lot better now than it was. It wasn't great, but it was better than the semifinal.
It's a little shaky. A little shaky.
Yeah, it always was, but yeah.
I don't think he's necessarily renowned for being the most amazing singer in the world, so I can forgive that. It's about the performance overall, etc. It all comes together: staging, vocal, music. Everything comes together to form a package, and that's what people will vote on. I agree with you in that I didn't give this a lot of a chance, and I will stick my neck out on the line and say that the reason for it, and in the 2 weeks running up to Eurovision, I was beginning to turn on this and change my mind. But through the initial selection in Estonia, through the pre-party season, I didn't get the character. I felt that the character was quite, to me, arrogant and not very likable to a degree, and it really put me off getting into this song or investing any time in it or developing any, sort of resonance with it. It just put me off. And in the 2 weeks to Eurovision, I was able to see more of the fun side of Tommy Cash, and whether it was in character or not, even just the silly videos that his security guys were doing with different acts, making Kai stop say sauna to say espresso macchiato, just stupid things. I was just like, even some interviews I saw with him on the turquoise carpet just made me feel a little bit sad that I didn't necessarily see that side longer, because obviously we are in the bubble. We form opinions a lot earlier than the general viewer. So I had opinions formed, and I found it really difficult to get out of them. And I mean, it's still not my favorite song in the world. I'm not going to lie. But it isn't completely intolerable like I previously sort of acted and intimated around it. It is what it is. I think I'm still shocked at how well it did, especially with the televote. I could not believe it. I knew it was going to do well, but I thought, between top 4 and top 10 well in the televote, not second highest televote. I very much underestimated this. I still think there's some issues in some of the staging. It sometimes felt a little bit like there was moments that not a lot was happening, and I would have really preferred. I don't know, even like just I can't even explain it well, but there was just a few moments where I was like, okay. But overall, the overall picture, this is hilarious. The stage invasion moment was greatly added.
Yeah, I feel like for me, the issues with the staging were more to do with camera angles, not so much the props or the dancers. I think like some of the camera angles were there was a lot of wide shots that weren't always necessary, which then obviously, especially when you get a bit of static staging, that sort of like amplifies that. So I get where you're coming from there. When you talk about his character, that's the issue when you have a character on stage that on first glance seems very different than what the person is really like. I feel like maybe that was also part of the issue last year with Joost Klein, where you didn't really get into the song, because he also had that character on stage. Whereas when I saw interviews with Tommy Cash, I kind of felt that it maybe wasn't really a character, and that's maybe just the way that he is, because he is in his interviews, he's also very dry and sort of like calm, but then at the same time very unserious and sort of silly. Like the answers that he gave to certain questions were kind of like, I know you're cracking a joke, but at the same time your face is straight. And then he had a cheeky smile every now and then. So that's when I started to come around and was like, oh, maybe that's just who he is. Maybe he just likes dry humor. A lot of people like dry humor.
I love dry humor. I just felt like some of it didn't always come through, and like obviously the song is humor, all the rest of it, but there's bits of anyway. I don't want to keep digging on negative feelings towards it that I did have.
No. Because at the end of the day, it came. Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, it came second with the televote. So there's not really much that you can say. You're never going to hear us say, "Oh, this was undeserved" or "This was deserved" or whatever. If people voted for it, then that's a deserved result, I suppose. And when it comes to the amount of televote points, I didn't necessarily, because I think he got 258 something points.
It was high,
somewhere around 250, I think. When you think of the high scores from previous years, it's not exactly a super high score. We've had many years in the past where we've had 1, 2, 3 countries sometimes even scoring over 300 points. Last year you had Israel, Ukraine, and Croatia, who won the televote, all 3 of them scoring over 300 points. So it was quite interesting to me to see that even though he came second, it was still only 250 something points. Even Israel, who won the televote, got 295 or whatever points. That is also not really a massive score if you see that some countries have gone, 320 or more. So I didn't really expect it when I saw the votes coming in. I was like, or at least afterwards, I was like, well, nobody really got a massive giant score. And then I started to think, were there a lot of lower scores that were close to each other? Because sometimes you'll either have like 3 or 4 really big scores and then a whole lot of low scores, like 10 points, 20, 30 points, something like that. But that wasn't really the case. So it's sort of like I almost wanted to calculate all the points and be like, are there enough points here that all the points actually get handed out? So it didn't really make sense to me.
I think they just were over more of a range, over more acts. But, I think we can leave Tommy Cash there for now. And we will make sure in the morning we'll have some Espresso Macchiato in his honour. Do remember to subscribe to the channel, like this video, ring the notification bell, and go to niallpoints.com. All the links you need are in the description down below. And we'll be back very soon. Goodbye!